I'm gonna dance in the light. I'm gonna shout out for joy. I'm gonna live out this life like I never have before. I'm gonna take every breath as if I had no more. I'm gonna sing every song, yeah. I'm gonna open up my heart and I'm gonna dance in the light.
So we are privileged to have with us this evening MVP Kristen Montana, who's here to share some words with us on behalf of the province.
But what I really found so remarkable about Angie Peters, when I first met her in 2013, when she first took the helm of Yonge Street Mission, was how bright-eyed and optimistic she was. And for those who have personal relationships with Angie, I think you will pretty much be able to attest to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she worked towards ending poverty, and she founded the Zoe Alliance. It's an international social enterprise before she joined Yonge Street Mission in 2013 as the president and the CEO. Then in 2022, this is right around the time that you and I became friends, Angie, she hosted a poverty hackathon that has since birthed a citywide multi-sector collaboration. It creates trust, it creates action, and it creates momentum to build communities where everybody can thrive.
Now, first of all, why the book? Why did you write this book?
Yeah, so I think I wrote it because that's how people feel. And during the pandemic, I had this experience where so many people reached out to me, even people that I hadn't seen for over a decade. And they were like, Angie, what's going on? Right? Because it was all over the news and it was so clear that the disparity had grown. And people didn't really realize that the poverty, the spotlight was really shone on it during the pandemic. And as I sought to answer these questions and to have these conversations with people, what was really clear to me is that there's not a lot of good information out there to help you know what to do. And that's what they wanted to know. What can I do to make a real difference? And I found that what we do as a sector is we tend to do two things. One of two things. We will tell you sad stories. And now you're sad. And you don't know what to do, right? You still don't know what to do. You have to answer the question. And the next thing we do is we give you overwhelming statistics. So now you're sad. And you're overwhelmed. And you still have no idea what to do. And so the book is really the answer to that. The idea, the genesis of creating this book was to put something really practical in people's hands so that they would figure out what to do.
You do everything with great intention. And so why the flower on the cover of this book?
So when you work with people who are experiencing poverty alongside them, which is what I've been doing for a long time now, you realize that we're all the same. We're human beings. We have the same needs. We have the same desires. We have the same dreams. There's no difference between us. And so the purple of the flower is kind of capture that. Purple's the color of royalty. You know, it's the idea that we're all the same. We all have a tremendous value. And the difference is this. Some of us have our feet planted in concrete. Some of us grew up in rich soil. And that's the reason that some of us are stuck. And the reason that we need to value the people who are among us, our neighbors, whose feet are planted in concrete, and come alongside them and just kind of breaks them out of the way. And give them the opportunity to pursue their dreams because that's what they want to do. This is the beginning of us deciding to do something really great together. I said to Emily earlier that I believe that we can turn this around. There's enough of us to turn this around. But the other thing I also believe very strongly is that we can do something that will have generational impact, like not just a little thing. We each have something that we can do that would have generational impact. How do we get started? Right? The first thing is, we have to think about the fact that poverty, most of us don't understand it these days unless you're in it. And that's fair. If you're not exposed to it, how would you understand it? And you can't solve a problem you don't understand. So the book really spends time answering people's questions about poverty so that we can understand it before it moves into us figuring out what we can do.
Why? Why am I so motivated to help people? I think it's simple, but it's really profound. At some points in my life, people invested in me.
There's a few people that helped me. My friend of mine, Tanya, she was incredible. I've tried, taking computer courses. She was very patient and she was determined for me to understand what she was teaching me.
our system as a whole is old. It is siloed in so many different ways. When folks need help, it's hard to find because it's so dispersed. And so knowing where to go for housing, knowing where to go for jobs and employment sometimes gets tricky. And there's stigma in the system. The idea that as soon as you get the help, you're gonna turn around really quickly. No one, and I'm sure people in this room will acknowledge that your life is a journey. It is not linear. There are steps, it's gradual, and it's incremental, and you get there slowly. But our system is not built for incremental change.
The two words are just act. Front row, A++. All the rest of you, the two words that I want everyone to remember are just act.